There was once a man named Jack, a great man, young, fit, intelligent, the greatest warrior in his village. All the women loved him. His skill at swordsmanship and horsemanship knew no equal. And one day he was called to battle. He got on his horse and he rode out into the fray. And in the middle of the battle he saw a vision. A peculiar, grisly featured face peered out at him from the mist, and the face spoke to him. It said, "Come with me and I'll give you anything that you've ever wanted." And Jack recognized this face for what it really was and says, "No, you are the spirit of death, and I am not ready to die." The vision vanished, and at that instant a sword blow from one of his enemies came striking down on his face and tore him open across here. He went back into the village an injured man, not dead, but disfigured and ugly. All the girls who previously loved him and wanted him ran in fear, and all of his friends deserted him, and he was left abandoned. And so he lived alone. He still had the use of his hands, and he could compose music, some of the most beautiful music you've ever heard in your entire life. Music for the harp, music for the lyre, beautiful sounds. And he played as well. And his music and his songs, they could make you happy or make you sad. And instead of loving him for his skills at battle or his physical form, they loved him for his words and for his music. And then one day, when walking out into the fields to pick vegetables for that night, he heard a voice, and he turned and he saw a vision. And in the vision he saw the same face that he saw when he was on the battlefield. And a voice came from that face, and it said, "Come with me, and I'll give you everything you've ever wanted." But Jack realized who this was and what this was and said, "No, you are death, and I'm not ready to die. I will not come with you." And the vision vanished, and as it did so, a lightning bolt came down from the sky and struck Jack and scorched his skin, and he fell and broke his leg. But still he didn't die. So there he was, facially disfigured, his skin burning and peeling away, and one leg broken, and he hobbled back into his house. But now he was ugly, and he was getting old. And soon his family and friends started to die, one by one, just of old age, for Jack just continued to live. And his bones were getting weak and started to break. And his flesh, what little of it there was left, started to peel away to expose the bone and the internal organs beneath, but still he wouldn't die. He went for a walk one day, across the fields and meadows to a stream, and he knelt and cupped his hands to take a swig of water from the sweet, fresh spring. And as he did so and looked into the water, he saw a face. The same face he saw on the battlefield, the same face he saw when he was in the fields that night. And the face said to him, "Come with me, Jack, and I'll give you everything you've ever wanted." And Jack says, "No, you are death, and I'm not ready to die." And the voice spoke back in a way it had never done before. And it said, "Jack, you are stupid. This is the third time when your time had come, and I could have taken you up to the halls in the other world, and you could have danced and played music and sang. You could have feasted with the best and had your choice of women and lived a life of celebration and joy, but still you rejected it for this. as you've rejected me and my kind offer, you will die, but only when this candle burns out." And a candle appeared before him, and the face vanished. Jack knelt beside the candle on the bank of the stream and thought, "It's a small candle, it won't take long to burn down." But not one drop of wax poured from the side of that candle. The candle was not burning down, but it was burning. The wind started to get up, and Jack was once again afraid of dying. He picked up the candle, cupped it in his hands, and carried it back to the field where the lightning bolt had struck him. And he found a vegetable, and he carved out of that vegetable a little lantern, so that he could guard the flame of the candle from the wind, and then to stay alive. And he took that candle in its pumpkin lantern back to his house, which was now in ruins, and he sat down and watched the candle glowing inside the pumpkin. The storm passed, and Jack was now a burden to his society and his community. He begged for scraps. He was unclean, ugly to look at, and foul in temper. If he couldn't get enough food, he would steal it. Of course, he couldn't look after himself with a broken leg and looking ugly as sin itself. He got tired and restless and ventured out for long walks across the meadows, through the woods, and along the country roads. Eventually his body just disintegrated, leaving only his spirit. And these days, the country people still say that you can see the spirit of Jack carrying his lantern throughout the woods, the valleys, the fields, the meadows, and along the highway in the dead of the night. Some people say you can see him at the full moon, and some say you can see him on Halloween night. Sleep well, and pray you'll never, ever have to see the grisly spectre of Jack of the Lantern.